morning we're mixing up some fertilizer for the different plants and wanted to show you the whole process. This is a 20-10-20 fertilizer, which a lot of fertilizers have dye in them, so that's the blue color here. And that just helps you when you're watering, using the fertilizer. It helps you know that it's fertilizing. It's more psychological than anything else, but if you see the blue color come out the hose, then you're in good shape. So we're going to be using a hose-on, a very simple hose-on injector, which injects at 1 gallon of fertilizer to 16 gallons of water. So we're putting 1 cup of the dry fertilizer into 5 gallons, and that should give us a good, hopefully, a good rate. So we'll let that, and we have 3 different types. This is 20-10-20. This is the 20-20-20, more balanced urea-based fertilizer. The 20-10-20 has no urea. If we look at the label, it says high nitrate, so it's a nitrate-based. Total nitrogen 20%, 8% ammonium nitrate. It says nitrate ammonia 12%. So that's the breakdown, and then the phosphate, and then the soluble potash is 20%. And the 20-20-20 is basically 4%, 3.9% ammonium nitrate, and then 6% nitrate, and then 10% urea, which the urea is the nitrogen source that needs the bacteria to help it break down into nitrates. The potash is the same, and the phosphate is also the same source of phosphate. And then it also lists the micronutrients: copper, a little bit of manganese, molybdenum, and zinc. No sulfur, but so that's the balanced 20-20-20 fertilizer. And then we put 1 cup, and you always want to make sure to mix it well so that it dissolves, thoroughly dissolves. The reason that I like this particular fertilizer, Plantex, is that it dissolves quite well. This is the 3rd fertilizer we're using today, the CalMag 17-5-17, and you can see it has 1% calcium, the magnesium, 3% calcium, 1% magnesium. It has boron, copper, and zinc and manganese as well. These are the 3 basic types of fertilizer that we use here at City College, that I use at my nursery as well. And we tend to alternate them so that the plants throughout the year receive all the necessary nutrients that they need to grow well. I think we're mixed up pretty well there. If you're ordering, you want to order one of these for your gardener, this is the hose-on brass siphon mixer. Sometimes they're called Siphon X, but it's a very simple but effective injector, and then it gives you sort of a conversion of teaspoons to tablespoons, etc. And again, for our purposes today, I've put in 1 cup in 5 gallons of water. And the hose-on attaches to your hose spigot. And this is the sort of injector part. And at the water pressure, again, will draw the fertilizer through the hose and proportion it correctly sucks it in and then mixes with the water as it comes out. And we reattach the hose. And at the end of the hose we have a little sort of strainer or screen that prevents any debris from being sucked up into the hose. This opening is very small, and if you do have a problem, that's where it tends to get a little bit clogged. So we'll drop that into the bucket here. Sun Moon likes to use these shut-off valves on the end of the hose. I found that particularly with a hose on, they will impede the suction rate of the injector. So I always take that off and just use the water breaker on the end. You get a better flow. It takes a while. Okay, it's sucking up. The nice part about the dosatron injector is that you don't have a reduction in water pressure. With the hose on, you do, so it affects it a little bit that way. I'll let this run for a while. And we'll use the EC meter. Okay, so we're pretty close to the 500 parts per million that we want. We're at 448, 450, which is great. So we'll test it one more time and then switch to fertilizer. And part of this demonstration is to show, so now we're up closer to 500, which we'd like. We wanted to do this to also show that different fertilizers will, because they have different amounts of each chemical in them, you're going to get different readings. So hopefully this will be apparent. We're now doing the 20-10-20. Takes a while for the fertilizer to come in, travel through the hose. The CalMag, the 17517, has no blue dye. The 20-10-20 does. We're not really seeing the dye just yet. And so this has a lower reading, 400. So each fertilizer, you sort of adjust how much you'll put in. I put the same amount in each bucket. So we're at 400. So this is 100 parts per million less. So if we were to, in the future, to use this particular injector, the hose on, we'd add, maybe a cup and a quarter to the mix so that we would get 500 parts per million. Next is the 20-20-20. And these hose-ons are great little, very portable injectors that you can use for your garden. And if you're fertilizing your plants regularly, you'll see the difference. And here you can see the blue color that tells you that the injector is working. And the 20-20-20 is again right around 400 parts per million. So let's see, we'll do it one more time. So it's pretty consistent, or very close to 400. So both the 20-10-20 and the 20-20-20, we need to add a little more fertilizer next time. But that just gives you an idea of how you compare the different fertilizers and the different formulas. And at City College, we pretty much alternate these. One tank will use 20, 10, 20, then 20, 20, 20, and the CalMag. The 20, 20, 20, we would tend to use more in the spring, summer, early fall during the growing season. The others are more, we would use them more frequently during the winter time, which helps in root growth and flower development. So that's sort of why we alternate them throughout the year. Okay, let's go.
Thank you, Tom. This is the storage area for the bags of fertilizers. There's a number of other formulations. Thought we'd give you take a look at them. There's Poinsettia Special, 20-10-20, ammoniacal nitrogen, also nitrate nitrogen, along with water-soluble nitrogen. Down here, here's Romeo-soluble fertilizer, 6-25-25. So not so much nitrogen, a little bit more phosphorus, potassium. So a little bit more for when you're fruiting or you're flowering. 6-25-25, blended product derived from potassium nitrate, ammoniated phosphate, ammonium sulfate. Here's a slow release. So little fertilizers that you just go put it right on top of the pots in the potting soil, and then over 3-4 months gives it constant feeding. Then you're not using a liquid, dissolved liquid like we were, dissolved salts. And this is 14-14-14 with minors. And the minors here being things like sulfur, copper, iron, manganese, and zinc. And finally here's a real light fertilizer mix that sometimes as we mix up the large batches of potting soil, we'll just add some in. And it's called 2-4-2 premix. So it's not very much, not very strong. And it tells you what it's derived from. Feather meal, which is the feathers of chickens and ducks. Treble superphosphate, urea form, potassium sulfate. Here's a bag of Romeo 24-10-18. And tucked way here in the back is a Miracle Grow. It's fertilizer along with weed control. And check out this formulation, 29-3-3. So that's high nitrogen. So if you need to green up the lawns right away, boom. That's like the shot in the arm.